and welcome to We Poets. My name is Sally Baker. I'm the host of We Poets. We Poets is a poetry show for boys and girls between the ages of 6 and 13. So if you would like to be on the program, please have your parents or your school teacher call me. I'm always looking for new children to come and be on We Poets. And if you are a teenager between the ages of 13 and 19, I'm always looking for interns. We give interns free training and they learn how to produce We Poets. And if you would like to be a guest on We Poets, I'm always looking for professionals to come and talk about their jobs or interesting careers that they've had that young people can pursue. Also, we're a nonprofit organization, so we need your contributions to bring you a new show each week. So we have lots of places where you can serve on We Poets. Today we're at La Pena Cultural Center in Berkeley, California, and we're going to be producing We Poets here. My wonderful guest for tonight, her name is Carol Coles. She's an author, and she has written 3 books, and she's going to talk about these 3 wonderful books that she's written. So, without further ado, here we go with Carol Coles. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Sally.
How you doing tonight?
Sally, I'm doing fabulously because I'm here with you. And it has been a few years, 3 books later, and thank you so much with all my heart for inviting me for my 3rd book for my life.
Good. So now my first question for you is, what was the name of the first poem that you wrote for your poetry book, Angels of Life Have Come to Me, and what inspired you to write it?
That's quite a question. You know, I had been writing off and on, but this particular book and this particular poem, Angel on My Knee, I never thought I would have that moment in time that if I were to explain it to you now, please believe me. I was laying in bed. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I saw this light at the foot of my bed. Now, there are no lights at the foot of my bed. And I just laid there and I said, Father, I don't know what this is, but I'm sure it's okay. And then the light just kind of rose up from the foot of my bed. And as I looked at the light, I just laid there very quietly. And then the light dimmed and it just went away. And so, as a result of that, when I sat up, I said, oh, what is this? And then the words came to me, Sally. And then I picked up my, my little tablet right on my table by my bed, and I wrote the words, Angel on My Knee. May I?
Yes, please read it.
I dreamed I talked to an angel who sat upon my knee, and every word she whispered was meant to set me free, free to live and love within my harmony. And as the words faded, I felt that I am now set and sit free. And after that, words kept coming about my life, about my mom, and about how I was growing up in Newark, New Jersey, and the things I've seen in my life, and the people I've met. And that's how I just began to write and write and write. And that was my first book. Angels of Life Have Come to Me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, Angels of Life Have Come to Me. How did you pick the cover, which is very compelling?
Oh, thank you, Sally. I really appreciate you saying that because it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. Here I am with my 5 o'clock trip down the stairs. At that time, I was married to a very, very wonderful man that is no longer with us. But I came downstairs because my publisher said, Carol, if you want to write this book, you have to pick out the cover and make sure that the angel that you pick has never been produced, has never been copyrighted. So I went to the computer, I sat down, and there were 765 pictures of angels. And I said, please, Father, don't let me have to go through 765 angels. And as a result of that, as I went down one by one, all the way down at the bottom, at the very bottom, was this picture. And I said, that's it.
That's it.
That's the cover.
Isn't that beautiful? And such a beautiful woman, such a beautiful face.
I have no idea who it was. There was no name at the bottom of it, but it was never published. And I just said, well,
that's your cover.
That's my cover.
Isn't this great? Wonderful, Carol. Now, my third question. I noticed in your Angels of Life book, there was, besides Angel on My Knee, tell us a story about the poem, The Potato Christmas, a Blessing.
Oh. I have two brothers. One is my middle brother. He was about 8 years old. And my younger brother, he's 4 years beyond that. And we lived in Newark, New Jersey. And that year, there was very little money. We were born and raised in the ghetto, but I did not come from ghetto parents. As a result of that, we sat in the living room. We did have a tree, but we had very little food. As a result, I didn't get upset about it, but I knew Mom was going to make a miracle. She was always good at praying and making miracles. Yes. So what we did when we decorated the tree, Mom does wonderful things. She did wonderful things with potatoes, fried, boiled, mashed, and we just had some salt pork, okay? So that was our potato Christmas, but that poem came to me because it was getting a little tight where I was living, and I said, Mom's Potato Christmas. Now that's a blessing. And if I could read that.
Please, I want to hear the Potato Christmas.
The Potato Christmas. Decorated tree, lighting the deep corners of the room, we huddle together in silence. No presents for us three, 2 brothers and me. Decorated tree, Mom and me, no Santa to see. Blessed are we. Mom cooking potatoes for 3. Potato Christmas, you say? Yes, every day. A potato a day, baked and fried with salt pork on the side. Bless Mom, our day, our Potato Christmas Day.
Isn't that wonderful? And that just goes to show you don't need material things to have a Christmas.
Just love and Mom and family.
And potatoes.
And potatoes.
That was your gift for Christmas.
Absolutely.
Isn't that great? Bless your mom's heart. And I know you enjoyed those potatoes.
Ooh, did we ever.
Now, let's see here. Your Angels of Life book has been an inspiration to children, families, and anyone who reads them. Angels was featured in 2010 by the Sacramento, California Book Expo and co-sponsored by the California Library Association. Your second book in 2015, Roses from the Divine, has also gotten mention on radio, and now your third book, My Eternity in Time, this year for mature adult audiences. What do you envision for all 3 of these books?
It has been my desire, and I've been able to donate the children's books to libraries and to be able to be an alumnus for Experience Corps that tutors in the schools for children. And so it's children that are not reading at their level. So I would take some of the children and we would go into a separate room, and I would read from my book, Angels of Life. The miracle that I experienced, and it really was a miracle, that the 5 children that I tutored, one of them came to me and said, "Miss Coles, my younger brother, he wasn't reading so good, and I read to him some of your poems, and I would read to him every night after we got through with dinner." He was 8 years old. His brother was 5 years old in the same school.
Oh.
And I had donated my book to the library. But he came to me and he said, "Miss Coles, because of your book and the words in them, he's now reading much better. He can recognize the words." And as a result of that, Sally, it made me feel that this is what I was put here for. Not only to write for children and families, but to donate my books whenever I could, and especially to those that have a little trouble with reading, but they can be helped and tutored, and that's exactly what I have done.
That's right. Now, if any of the teachers would like for you to put some of your books in their school, what would they do? Would they have to contact you?
They can certainly contact me at my email address. And can I say
Yes,
mine?
please.
Okay, it's ccoles5429@aol.com, and I would be more than happy to donate a book to their library. If they would like me to be a guest and talk to their children, I would love to do that.
Oh, good, good, wonderful. Now let's see here. Can our viewers order one or all 3 books from you?
They can order all 3, but also when I send an email to them, I would give them the link that they can order from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Thrift, and that way they can go on there, just click on that link, and be able to order online.
Good, good. Now let's see, you did give us that. Now, let's see. Now, is there anything else before we take a break that you would like to talk about before you bring your table on and we can talk about these 3 wonderful books that you brought?
Well, thank you so much, Sally. The feeling I have always had for children and families, that the written word is so important and so wonderful, that reading should never, ever be something that should be read to children at any age, and also to families to sit around and enjoy books.
Well, thank you, Carol. Now we're going to take a break.
Oh, wonderful.
And then we're going to come back. So boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, don't turn off those TVs. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and Carol is going to show these 3 wonderful books. We'll be back in just a moment. To the second half of We Poets. I'm Sally Baker, the host, and now I'm going to continue interviewing my wonderful guest for tonight. Her name is Carol Coles. She is an author, and now she's going to be talking about these 3 wonderful books that she has written. So here we go with Carol. All right, Carol, you're on.
Oh, Sally, thank you very much. I want to, again, thank you for this opportunity, because children and families have always been my life. When I worked for Alameda County Children and Family Services, and then even working with Wells Fargo and Experience Corps, all the time there have always been some child or some mom or some father that said, "Carol, we saw your book. Could you just read something for us?" So as a result of that, from my Angels of Life book, I got to meet so many moms, so many children. And from there, it went to Roses from the Divine, and now my last book, My Eternity in Time. When Angels of Life came out, I used my husband's paintings, and though he was not a painter, he was a professional architect, in between his jobs, he would paint. So the cover of my third book, My Eternity in Time, was in my first book, Angels of Life Have Come to Me, and I never thought I would do 2 more books. So this has been a blessing for me because everyone has said that the paintings are so very beautiful. Roses from the Divine was inspired by women who started from nothing, and rose up. So I'd like to just read just one of these.
Yes, please.
Okay. Roses from the Divine. This is called The Lioness Queen, and I'll have to tell you the story afterwards.
Okay.
Out of the rose comes the lioness queen. I marvel at her steps. Summoned from a dream, she glides with assurance and depth of thought. Lioness queen, look at earth's changing day. Glorious rays and shining days of love and play. This one is a little longer, and I also have a dedication to women of excellence. And it goes all the way through, Sally, for men and women, all the way through with Roses from the Divine. So the women and the men, because they also recite the poems to their loved ones.
Good, good. How many poems have you written altogether in these 3 books?
In these 3 books, I would say several hundred.
Several hundred?
Yep.
Wow, you've been a busy woman.
I've been busy in between working and having all the challenges of trying to take care of a house, take care of a husband, take care of bills, putting food on after he left.
Yes.
So these are the kinds of things that I can relate to all of the men and women, but the families basically, because the family unit is the most important that we have here in America. And every time I look at a child, I think, yes, I could. And even though I don't have, God didn't bless me with children, He blessed me with being able to say, our family strength, in a poem of Angels of Life. If I could read this very quickly.
Yes, please, please.
Our family strength. We are, I am. Only one blood flows through our existence and vitalizes the foundation of our spirits. Souls collected from a source of infinite intelligence. We are, I am, moving alone and together, speaking alone, speaking together, listening for help to and for each other. The foundation is never broken. We are, I am, one and the same.
Great, Carol. That's wonderful, wonderful.
So, I really appreciate this opportunity, Sally. On my third book that has the cover that my that my husband painted, he's painted several of the paintings that are in all 3 books. So there were really some tight times when he wasn't doing architectural work. So he did beautiful, beautiful paintings that I used and was inspired. The last book for my life is My Eternity in Time. And on the last page is dedicated to dearest friends. May I?
Yes, please.
What is a true friend? When your world is turned upside down, who who listens? When you have a day you cannot abide, who listens? When you need a hand to hold and the world is cold, who listens? When a hug is more than gold, there's no one to hold, who listens? When your day is full of all the joy life holds, who listens? When you almost sold your soul for something life did not hold, who listens? When your tears cannot be consoled, who listens? When everything is gone, your life is put on hold, who listens? God listens. The angels have come to me many times in my life, and as a result of that, Sally, and to the children and to the families, I dedicate the rest of my life to helping the children and families here in Oakland and wherever I am asked.
Wonderful. And I know your husband is looking down from heaven. He's very proud of you today.
Well, thank you very much, Sally. I'm very proud to be here.
Yes, yes. And these are all just wonderful, wonderful things. Now, is there anything else that we would like to talk about? Would you like to talk about your background to inspire children to excel, that never take no for an answer? You never took no for an answer.
I never took no for an answer.
Your mother never took no for an answer.
That's true.
Would you like to put a message out to the children?
Absolutely. When I was coming up, as I said, I was born and raised in the ghetto, but I did not come from ghetto parents. They encouraged me and inspired me, and they taught me the one thing that kept me going. There is something in each one of us. You can call it a spirit, you can call it a ghost, but I call it a supreme being that has put within all of us a spirit that takes care of us and inspires us. My mother would say when things got tight and we were back to potatoes, she would say, Carol, don't worry, God is with us. And that's what I say to all the children and all the families. If the tight times come, and they will come, look up, have strength and faith, and never give up. And never take no for an answer. When someone says, oh, Carol, you can't go to Juilliard. That's a high-class school. You can't go there because you don't have the money. Mm-hmm. And so a music teacher said to me, Carol, you can do anything you put your heart and soul to. And so, with hardly any money at all, I went to the audition, Sally, and I sang from my heart and from my soul. And yes, I was able to get into one of the most prestigious music conservatories in the United States, and that was Juilliard School of Music. And I am so grateful to my mother and to my father and all those that encouraged me that yes, never take no for an answer.
Right. And how long were you at Juilliard? And tell us about maybe an outstanding experience that you had there.
The outstanding experience is that I had a fabulous teacher.
Good.
And I was there for 3 years, and I did have a scholarship the first year, but because my mother was not able, I couldn't borrow, scrape, or anything to continue. But that did not stop me.
You, no.
Because I was able to get a position at a preschool. And I taught preschool, 3 years old and 4 years old.
Wonderful.
And they were wonderful because I could teach them the basics of ABCs, how to put numbers together, how to put simple words together. And I had 30 in my class.
30?
That's right, 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, because what they did, they had extended time when they had to accommodate parents that are working. Mm-hmm. So when the other 3 preschools, the teachers had to go. They would send their children to my class. So by the end of the day, I had 60 children.
Oh!
And so I just said, well, Father, what do I do with 60 children? And my assistant, who was an elderly lady that I absolutely adored, she says, well, Carol, we could play music. I said, well, what music should we play, Mrs. Crowell? She says, how about Marvin Gaye? I heard it through the grapevine. And when the children, all 60 of them, and we had this small little room, they would jump up and say, Miss Coles, we're ready to dance. And they would get up and dance and have a most wonderful time.
Oh.
Most wonderful time.
Isn't that? Could you hum a few words for us? Do you remember it? I heard it through the grapevine.
Oh, Lordy, I heard it through the grapevine. How much longer will you be mine?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Oh, wonderful,
Carol, we're just
dear.
about out of time, but I want to thank you so much.
You.
It's been a wonderful, wonderful interview.
Same.
And I hope all these people will call you, get in contact with you, and let you know. Again, it'll come up on the screen, but could you tell us where people can contact you to get your books?
Please email me, ccoles5429@aol.com. I would be glad to talk to them through the email.
Wonderful. And do you still go out to places to talk?
Yes, all I need is an invite.
That's all she needs, people. You hear that? Well, Carol, it's just been great, great, great.
Thank
and
you.
I'd like you to come back again if you do your fourth book.
Oh, bless
are you
your
Are you
heart.
writing your fourth book?
I'm trying.
You're trying. Well, what do you do to keep busy beside writing a book, writing your books?
Well, I go to the senior center and I talk to seniors and also tell them about shared housing.
Okay. Well, I think we're out of time, so let's wave goodbye to our watching audience. Everybody, thank you for watching.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.